of Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul. Now, we've all seen the videos. If you're a listener to this program, then I assume by some nature you've seen some video, you've seen some comedy sketch, you've seen anything that has highlighted this problem. Ron Paul came second in the Ames, Iowa straw poll, lost out only by 150 votes out of thousands, and he received zero press coverage. On shows like Meet the Press, he didn't even get a mention. And why, we wonder? Why does he get no mention? Someone who is against the wars, someone who is against the drug war, someone who is against all of this spending, all of this militarism, and has been for the last 30 to 40 years. Well, that's because he threatened our sponsors here on Meet the Press. Let's hit the music, please. From NBC News in Washington, this is Meet the Press, with your host, gray-haired man who scares you.
Today on the program, we look at Michelle Bachmann getting wrong Elvis's birthday, Rick Perry on the campaign trail, worst job numbers for the president as he embarks on his bus tour, and more economic news. A look back in history in the Meet the Press vault, with our host, with our talking guest, one talking head overweight man who is a Republican, a slim, clean-looking blonde man who represents a Democrat. More to come on this week's Meet the Press. No more about important issues, but that's the way it is. We'll be right back after a little clip from our sponsor, who happens to be a war manufacturer of guns and weapons and planes. But don't worry, that isn't going to tinge our reporting at all. We're not going to talk about the war or anti-war candidates. This is Meet the Press.
We know why we're here. To connect our forces to what they need when they need it.
To help troops see danger before it sees them.
To answer the call of the brave and bring them safely home.
Around the globe, the people of Boeing are working together to support and protect all who serve.
That's why we're here.
So you've got a great ad that just played on Meet the Press there. Every single commercial break that shows, when you watch the program, it's Boeing, it's some sort of aircraft company, it's planes, it's anything. These are the companies that are spending money to lobby and influence our politicians, to influence them to go to war. There's an article here from the Associated Press. Boeing spends $4.4 million on second quarter lobbying. Aircraft builder and defense contractor Boeing Company spent $4.4 million lobbying the government during the second quarter on issues including federal defense and aviation spending and foreign relations. The lobbying bill was down a little from the nearly $5 million it spent during the April to June period in 2010. Boeing has interests ranging from commercial aviation to defense, space, and more recently, cybersecurity. It lobbied on issues including upgrading technology at the Federal Aviation Administration, funding for NASA and the space station, and on science education and pilot training issues. Boeing also lobbied on tax issues and the functions of the Export-Import Bank, which backs loans to foreign airlines so they can buy Boeing planes. It lobbied on funding for the State Department as well. Also on relations between the U.S. and Turkey, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Vietnam, Pakistan, and other countries. Boeing lobbied on defense spending too, including naval and Air Force aviation spending, according to the disclosures made in a July 20th filing with the House Clerk's Office. And herein, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we see the meshing of the military-industrial media complex. The media has an interest in continuing to accept money from these companies that promote war, that promote this propaganda, promote this spending, promote this intervention. Do you think they're going to give any time to anti-war candidates like Ron Paul? Do you think they're going to spend any of their energy in attending to the hopes and desires of those who have been protesting against these movements, against this administration of war for the past 50 years? Well, no, ladies and gentlemen, but that's just how the game is played.